Imagine a world where Adolf Hitler and the Nazis won World War II. This world would be very different and much darker than the one we know today. After winning World War II, Nazi Germany would have solidified its control over Europe. The Axis powers, including Germany, Italy, and Japan, would have emerged victorious against the Allies. This victory would have involved the complete defeat and occupation of major Allied nations like the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and possibly even the United States. In this alternate reality, Europe would be dominated by the Third Reich. Countries like Poland, France, and the Netherlands would be fully integrated into a vast Nazi empire. The borders of Germany would stretch far into Eastern Europe, encompassing large swathes of land taken from the Soviet Union. The Nazi plan for Eastern Europe, known as General Plan Ost, would be put into action. This plan involved the mass displacement and extermination of millions of people deemed racially inferior, including Slavs, Jews, and other ethnic groups. The Nazis would repopulate these areas with ethnic Germans, creating a vast agrarian society to serve as the breadbasket for the Reich. The Holocaust, which had already claimed the lives of 6 million Jews and millions of others, would continue and expand. Concentration camps and extermination centers would operate at full capacity, with the goal of completely eradicating Jews, Roma, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and anyone else the Nazis considered undesirable. The genocide would spread to other regions as well, with occupied territories in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union becoming sites of mass murder and ethnic cleansing. Life in the conquered countries would be extremely harsh. The Nazis would impose strict rules and maintain constant surveillance over the population. The Gestapo, Hitler's secret police, would ruthlessly hunt down anyone suspected of dissent or resistance. Public executions, torture, and deportations to concentration camps would be commonplace. Fear would dominate everyday life, as people would be forced to conform to Nazi ideology or face severe punishment. The economies of occupied countries would be fully integrated into the Nazi war machine. Factories, mines, and farms would be repurposed to support the needs of Germany. Millions of people from these regions would be forced into slave labor, working under brutal conditions to produce goods and resources for the Reich. These forced laborers would be treated as expendable, with little regard for their health or well-being. Schools and cultural institutions would be transformed to promote Nazi beliefs. Children would be taught to idolize Hitler and embrace the principles of Aryan superiority. Education would focus on physical fitness, military training, and Nazi ideology. Books, films, and art that did not conform to Nazi standards would be banned and destroyed. Cultural diversity would be eradicated, replaced by a uniform, oppressive narrative that glorified the Aryan race and German supremacy. Society would become heavily militarized. The Hitler Youth would train boys for future military service, while girls would be prepared for roles as mothers and homemakers, raising the next generation of Aryans. Military values and training would be integrated into everyday life, ensuring that the population was always ready for war. Countries like Britain and the Soviet Union, if defeated, would be subjected to harsh occupation regimes. In Britain, the Nazis might establish a puppet government, while in the Soviet Union, they would likely continue their brutal campaign of conquest and extermination. Resistance movements might persist in these regions, but without significant external support, their chances of success would be slim. In this world, the global balance of power would shift dramatically. The United States might adopt an isolationist stance, focusing on its own defense and avoiding conflict with the powerful Nazi regime. Alternatively, there could be a prolonged standoff or further conflicts between the Axis and the remaining Allied powers. Everyday life would be profoundly affected. Freedom and rights, as we know them today, would be severely restricted or non-existent. The constant threat of Nazi retribution would hang over everyone's heads, creating a society dominated by fear and oppression. In summary, if Hitler had won World War II, the world would be a place of strict control, fear, and widespread suffering. Nazi policies would shape every aspect of life, leading to a dark and oppressive future. This vision of a world dominated by Nazi Germany serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of unchecked totalitarianism and hate.